Hey guys, it's your average middle-aged American back again with another reaction video. This one is about castles. If you know my channel, you know me, you know I love castles. Castles and cathedrals, symmetry, just clean, crisp lines. That's me. I'm all about it. I have not seen this video. I've seen parts of it, making some shorts, but we're going to go through it and watch it together and talk about some castles to visit in Europe. This one's from Ryan Shirley. He does some amazing videos on Europe and I assume the rest of the world. Actually, he definitely did some on America. He's just a young guy, adventurous, travels all around the world. Amazing videography, amazing photography. Go check out his channel. There'll be a link in the description. Really makes you want to go see all these places that he goes. Now, he does backflips on the side of cliffs and all that. That ain't me. But good for him. He'll have memories that last a lifetime. All right, guys, we're up to almost 700 subscribers. Getting 70% to our goal of 1,000. Can't thank you enough. I appreciate each and every one of you, even when we have civil discussions on the differences between our cultures or our countries. I learn something every day from you guys, even days that I don't watch videos. I still read every single comment, and I will do so until it's impossible. If you haven't subscribed already, I appreciate you subscribing. Thumbs up goes a long way. Enough jibber jabber. Let's get to it.
What's up, guys? My name is Ryan, and I spent the last few years exploring Europe, and I want to show you my favorite castles and the stories behind them. So here's my European castles top 20. Europe is home to the world's most stunning castles. From the medieval fortresses of the UK to the fairy tale kingdoms of Germany, Europe's castles remain unmatched to the rest of the world. Alright, let's start this video off at the
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, I started this channel about 5 months ago, and I'm pretty patriotic, maybe even a little overboard sometimes. Born in America, proud to be an American. My family has benefited from the freedoms of America, you know, being a small business owner, etc. I love America. You know, most of the things you hear negative about America are very specific places. You know, California's got a lot of problems, Chicago, etc. New York City, maybe. But that's not all of America. Anyway, back to the point. We don't have any castles. Closest thing we have to castles are like the Biltmore Estate, in North Carolina, which is an amazing place. I did a couple videos on the Biltmore. If you haven't seen that already, it's the Vanderbilt's home, and they basically just created a forest around this home. They used this same guy that did Central Park in New York, landscape architect. Anyway, we just don't have this stuff. You know, old to us is late 1600s, 1700s. You know, that's old. My house, I feel like my house is old. It's 65 years old. So when you see these things, or at least when I see a castle being visited 500, 600, 800, 1,000 years after it was built, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that they were able to create something that has stood the test of time and performed its function, which was to protect, you know, the people that live there. Castles and cathedrals just, they have a special place in my heart, and I wish, it's one of the few things that I really wish America had that we don't. All right, back to it.
Orava Castle. Located in Slovakia, Orava Castle is perched perfectly on a skinny rock cliff. This may be one of the most eerie castles in all of Europe. It was used in many scenes of the famous 1922 horror film Nosferatu, so you definitely get some Dracula vibes there. Now, it was built upon a former fortress in the 13th century after the Mongol invasions to defend what was then the Kingdom of Hungary. Like many castles, Orava was added on and destroyed by fire, and then it was ultimately restored. I just think it's so crazy how they were able to integrate the castle onto the stone peaks of the hill, and it doesn't even look real. If you want spooky vibes, you gotta check this place out. While we're still in Slovakia, we're gonna head over to Spiš Castle. Located about a 2-hour drive from Orava, Spiš Castle is one of Europe's largest by area. Its origins begin in the 12th century when it was built upon an earlier castle. The last owners of the castle was a family, and they abandoned it in the 18th century because it was too uncomfortable to live in. I'm sure the walk up to the castle wasn't that fun. What I love about Spiš is the massive walled area. I mean, that would have been a cool place to hang out during medieval times. Afterwards, we're going to head over to the United Kingdom to visit Conwy Castle. Located in northern Wales, Conwy Castle is an extraordinary piece of history. It was built by Edward I at the end of the 13th century. The castle, along with the walls surrounding the city, cost £15,000 to build, which was an enormous amount of money back then. Over the next few centuries, it proved as a strong fortress that withstood many wars and sieges. I just really love the round watchtowers and just the pure medieval look that this place has. While we're still in the UK, we're going to head.
That's crazy, you know? I mean, it's really cool that they, you know, have preserved this, but it's just crazy to look at. You've got trains next to it, you've got a highway next to it. You know, it just looks so out of place. I mean, there's what looks like some kind of an industrial area over there with solar panels and everything. You got boats. So you have boats, trains, cars, and some kind of facility next to it that's modern. And then you just have this fortress, this castle built out of, you know, solid rock, just sitting there that will be there forever. After those highways have been replaced or demolished or whatever, that thing's going to be there forever until they make a conscious effort to get rid of it, which hopefully they will never do. It's just really neat. You don't get to drive by castles in America. You drive by McDonald's in America.
Really love the round watchtowers and just the pure medieval look that this place has.
That's so
While
cool.
we're still in the UK, we're going to head up to Scotland to visit Edinburgh Castle. Perched upon an extinct volcanic rock, Edinburgh Castle can be seen from all angles of the city. The castle is one of the oldest fortified places in Europe. The rock was inhabited as early as the 1st century, but wasn't until the...
That doesn't look real. That looks like one of those like little miniature landscapes you build. They added on a football stadium, European football stadium. I don't know what you call football. If it's, I guess it's just football, right? Soccer. Which, by the way, for all you Europeans that make fun of America for calling it soccer, it was called soccer in the UK before it was called soccer in America. Just so we're all clear on that. Look it up. Type. So I know there's American football and then there's football. But technically, it was soccer. I think it comes from Latin. Soccer da balle or something. I don't know. Another night, not a lot of sleep. Got a lot to do today. It's first thing in the morning. I'm a little weird. Don't get to eat for another 4 hours. That's great. Just rambling on. Let me know what's up with this. Why is there a football stadium next to a castle? That is cool though.
the 12th century when the castle started to take shape. This castle has had one heck of a history. In its 1100 years of existence, it's believed to have faced 26 sieges, making it the most besieged place in Great Britain and one of the most attacked places in the world. Today, Edinburgh Castle is one of Scotland's most visited attractions, and it's just a piece of history you gotta witness if you're in Scotland. Another stunning nearby place is Dunnottar Castle. Now located about 2 hours drive from Edinburgh, this medieval fortress is another historical gem. Today, only the ruins remain to tell the castle's past. The massive cliffs right against the ocean just make this fortress so dramatic. I wish I could have seen Dunnottar in its former glory. Another one of my favorite castles in Scotland is the Eilean Donan Castle. Now, if you're driving out to the Isle of Skye, you'll pass right by it. It's situated on a small tidal island at the point where 3 great sea locks meet. The castle was built in the 13th century but got completely destroyed in 1719 by the naval force. Luckily, the castle was restored in the 20th century, and today it's one of the most photographed places in Scotland. It's been featured in films such as Highlander. It's just quite the scenic spot you gotta check out if you're visiting the Scottish Highlands. Alright, after Scotland, we're gonna head over to Germany to visit the Hohenzollern Castle. Now, I have to say this.
Why is it that we always end up back in Germany for the most beautiful things? I know. The Italians are going nuts right now when I say that, but there's something about Germany. I don't know what it is. I really don't. Yeah, I've got some German ancestors. Yeah. But still, it's just like, I mean, you just look at that thing. It's just beautiful. Call me crazy, but Germany is creeping up my list for the first places to visit. Wife's first place to visit is England. So I think we're going to do our first round of Europe. I think we're going to do, England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland. I think that will be our first taste of Europe. And then obviously France, Germany, probably Spain. I'm afraid to go to Spain. I just did a video on living in Spain, and I'm afraid if I go to Spain, I might not ever leave. So I don't know when Spain is going to happen, but apparently you can live in Spain for realistically 3,000 euros a month. Have a beautiful life. Check that video out if you haven't already. It was pretty eye-opening. I was really surprised. Basically, a Canadian couple moved to Spain, south of Spain, in a beautiful house, in a beautiful neighborhood on the coast. And their budget is 2,000 euros a month. Not including their house, but realistically, they're saying that you could live there for between 3,000 and 4,000 euros a month, all in, which is less than the median household income in America, and a lot nicer for that income. So check that video out if you haven't already. But man, Germany just blows my mind. For one country to have so many different things, Germany really... When I did the This is Germany video, it just shook my world. I'm not even kidding. I learned more about Germany in the last 5 months than I've learned in my first 53 years of living. Something about Germany.
This is one of the most impressive castles on the list. It sits perfectly on Mount Hohenzollern and can be seen from miles away. Hohenzollern is the last of 3 castles that was built upon this hill. It was completed in 1867 as a memorial to the Prussian royal family. Today it's one of Germany's most visited castles, and I understand why. Another stunning castle in Germany is the Cohem Castle. The original castle was built back in the 1100s, and it made its money by collecting shipping tools on passing ships down on the river. Sadly, it was destroyed in 1689 by the French, but in 1868, a wealthy businessman from Berlin decided to rebuild the castle ruins. Today, it stands perched on a hill overlooking the beautiful town of Cohem and the Moselle River. Another stunning castle just 30 minutes away is the Eltz Castle. It's a popular place to get that classic Instagram picture, so if you're in the area, you gotta check both these castles out. You won't regret it. After Germany, we're gonna head over to neighboring Poland to visit
I did a video on the Elks Council, and for the record, boo on DW for copywriting it. Boo. Ridiculous. So I had to take it down, even though I appealed it and still lost, because apparently if I use 10 minutes of their video and talk about it for 20 minutes, that's some kind of a copyright infringement. It's not. It's fair use. But I'm not willing to go to court over a video that has 1,000 views. But it didn't make me very happy. And yes, the Elks Council is pretty cool. And boo on DW. Don't worry, I won't do any other videos by DW. Like I'm taking your business or something. Give me a break.
River. Another stunning castle just 30 minutes away is the Elts Castle. It's a popular place to get that classic Instagram picture, so if you're in the area, you gotta check both these castles out. You won't regret it. After Germany, we're gonna head over to neighboring Poland to visit the massive Malbork Castle. Located in the northern part of the country, about an hour's drive from Gdansk, Malbork is the largest castle in the world by land area. It was built in the 13th century by the Teutonic Knights, who were German Catholic Crusaders. Now, as the number of knights grew, so did the castle, which encloses an area of 52 acres. It's just crazy to think that people were able to build such buildings back then. Sadly, more than half of Malbork Castle was destroyed during World War II, but thankfully it has been rebuilt to its former glory. After Poland, we're going to head over to Lithuania to visit the Trakai Island Castle, located on an island in
I would love to live on an island. How cool is that? Yeah, I know it's an American thing, but just for the defense alone, the security of living on an island, let alone the privacy. I mean, yeah, the view's nice and all that, but it really comes down to it. It's just privacy and security, right? And that's what castles are for. I don't know if I've seen, these are like little tiny islands with trees on them. I don't know if I've seen that very often. You know, besides palm trees and stuff. That's really cool. Lithuania. Should I visit Lithuania? Is that a cool place? Let me know in the comments.
Trakai Island Castle, located on an island in Lake Galv. Trakai Castle is one of a kind. It was built in the 14th century and it served as one of the main centers of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. Over the centuries, the castle survived many battles, but during the 17th century wars with Moscow, the castle was damaged and gradually deteriorated. Thankfully, it was reconstructed in 1961 to portray its 15th century style. I just love the coned orange roofs with the beautiful surroundings of the lake. After, we're going to head over to visit the castles of Transylvania. Now, one of the most famous castles in Transylvania is Bran Castle, located near the city of Brasov. Castle was built around the 14th century and served as a fortification against the Ottoman Empire. Similar to Orava, Bran has been named Dracula's castle thanks to its dramatic architecture. I mean, I could just totally imagine Count Dracula using this castle as his hideout. Another impressive medieval place in Transylvania is Corvin Castle. It's one of the largest castles in Europe, and its construction began in 1446. Like Bran, it has a creepy vibe to it. Needless to say, Transylvania is a...
I don't find that creepy at all. I think it's beautiful. You guys find that creepy? Just because it's in Transylvania? I think it's a beautiful castle. I mean, just think about this for a second, okay? It's 2024. So, 700 years ago, a group of people decided to build a castle without electricity or power tools or, you know, hydraulic tools or anything other than paper and quill and rulers. I mean, it just hammers and chisels and blah, 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 but it just blows my mind. It blows my mind that they could do it, and it blows my mind that they could do it so well that it's still standing 700 years later.
a fascinating region full of some of the world's most uncanny castles. After, we're going to head over to Austria to visit the Hohensalzburg Fortress. Perched on a hill in the beautiful city of Salzburg, Hohensalzburg Fortress is one of the largest and best preserved medieval castles in Europe. Construction began in 1077 and it continued to be expanded throughout the centuries. I just love how the fortress overlooks the entire city of Salzburg and it's surrounded by the Austrian Alps. I mean, just quite the place. Now, after Austria, we're going to head over to Malta to visit the Cittadella, located on the island of Gozo. The Citadel is a massive fortress with quite the history, and before it was a fortress, it's believed to have been the site of an acropolis. Now, during medieval times, the acropolis was converted into a castle, and it served as a refuge for the people of Gozo. I just can't believe how massive it is. What a place. After, we're going to head over to Portugal to visit the castle of Leiria. Constructed in the 12th century, this castle was built to create a line of defense against the Arabs. Throughout the years, the castle started to lose its military importance and it was damaged extensively by French invasions. Today, the castle has been restored and I just love how it's integrated with the city. I mean, there's just houses all around it. It'd be pretty cool to live next to the castle if you ask me. After Portugal, we're going to head over to Spain.
All right, I understand that all these places have the same roof tiles or you know, terracotta or whatever it is. But why are they all white? Is that just I mean, is there a reason behind this? Is this a climate thing? You know, the sun hitting white paint versus different colors? Or is it just a cultural thing? Or is it not paint? Is it something else? Is it some kind of stone that's already that color? I have no idea, so let me know. I mean, I don't, I'm not opposed to it. It looks, you know, looks like a nice place, but I am curious why they are all exactly the same color. I understand the roof makes sense. You know, the materials in the area or whatever. Is that the same thing that why the walls are all white? Or does this have something to do with the sun and heat? Or is it just laws that they all have to be white for historical areas, whatever? Let me know. If you know, let me know. Because I obviously don't know.
After Portugal, we're going to head over to Spain to visit the Alcázar de Segovia, now located in central Spain, about an hour's drive from Madrid. I have to say this is one of Spain's most dramatic castles. It has a very distinct shape that resembles the bow of a ship. The castle was built in the 12th century as a fortress, but served as a royal palace, prison, and military academy throughout the years. Today, it's a museum and one of Spain's most unique castles. After Spain, we're going to head over to the Netherlands to visit Castle de Haar, located about 30 minutes outside of Amsterdam. Castle de Haar is one of the most beautiful and well-kept castles in Europe.
Fancy.
The surrounding grounds and gardens are immaculate. The castle has 200 rooms and 30 bathrooms. So if you're in Amsterdam, you might as well check this place out. After Netherlands, we're going to head over to Georgia to visit the Rabbati Castle. I mean, I was shocked when I found out about this place. I mean, it's so well preserved. The medieval fortress was built in the 9th century by a Georgian prince, and over the next 3 centuries, the fortress grew into a city with guarded entrance gates, watchtowers, all surrounded by impressive medieval walls. The city survived many invasions and continued to thrive.
Okay, this gold thing, I assume that's some kind of a religious, is that a mosque? Is that some other religious gathering area? What is that? I mean, it's clearly different than all the rest of the surrounding area. I mean, this thing was built over 1,000 years ago, or at least started over 1,000 years ago. I mean, just think about that. If every relative you had lived to 100, you'd have to go up the ladder 10 generations. So realistically, it's like 14 or 15 generations. Some guy out there with a manual pulley and a sledgehammer and a chisel. It really humbles you, you know? I mean, it really does. I gotta build this ramp. My backyard, when you walk down the side of my house, my backyard is lower than the house. And I have this ramp, and the only reason it's even there instead of stairs is because it's the only place you can get a lawnmower into my backyard. I gotta build a ramp. I built one before, but it's just some spare wood and stuff. I was so proud of myself. I built a ramp. I got to rebuild it because it's rotted, you know, but this was years ago. So now I got to take on this thing and I'm going to make it perfect. It's going to be the perfect ramp just so my yard guy can get to my backyard easy. It's a little ramp, you know, $100 worth of wood and a day worth of labor and power tools and power saw, power drill, screws, pressure treated lumber, all just cut to perfection. They didn't have any of that. They had to just figure it out. Here's a hammer, here's a chisel, build a castle. It really humbles you. It really puts it in perspective. Because I know I'm going to spend all day trying to make this ramp. It really humbles you. I know I babble. I know. I ramble on, especially in the mornings when I haven't had any sleep. Just giving you my thoughts. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to let you into my world and learn about your world. I can't wrap my head around this stuff. I can't believe that 1,000 years ago, there are so many things wrong with my 65-year-old house. I can't imagine 1,000 years ago building something like this.
To thrive. Today, the Rabbati fortress has been restored, and in my opinion, it's one of the most underrated medieval fortresses in all of Europe. Inside the fortress, there's a mosque, fountains, and other impressive features. It's such a beautiful place.
It's a mosque.
You gotta check out if you're ever in Georgia. Now, for our last castle, we're gonna return to Germany to visit the iconic Liechtenstein Castle. Now, I have to say, this is the most beautiful castle in all of Europe. It's what inspired Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle.
Oh.
It would be the perfect place for a princess. Now, the castle is nestled at the very tip of southern Germany. Liechtenstein Castle is perfectly placed in the mountains with...
Yeah, it is interesting how many castles Germany copied from Disney. I know. It is beautiful. I mean, it really is beautiful. Why is everything in Germany beautiful? I'm not saying these other castles aren't beautiful. Netherlands one was stunning. But it's like Germany's got a little bit of everything. A little bit of castles, a little bit of cathedrals, a little bit of forest, a little bit of industry. It's got a little bit of everything. And everything's real nice. Yeah, we're going to Germany.
A phenomenal 360 view of the Bavarian Alps and the town below. The construction of the castle began in 1869. Now, during World War II, the SS debated blowing up the castle to prevent it from falling into the enemy's hands.
The forest is unreal. That's very similar to like North Carolina. That's where I was telling you about the Biltmore. The Biltmore estate in North Carolina, just Google it. It's mind-blowing. It was built in the 1800s. Has electricity, has an indoor swimming pool. I mean, it's unbelievable. The $1 billion property in today's world. But look at the forest. It's just beautiful. And you just overlook all that land. It's wild.
But thankfully it never happened. The castle receives over 1.4 million visitors a year, so It's definitely a tourist hotspot. I just can't get over the beauty of this castle. It's truly something out of a fairy tale. Well, that is it for my castles top 20. Let me know where your favorite castle in Europe is in the comments below.
Well, there you go. 20 beautiful castles. Well, some of them aren't quite as beautiful, but significant, important castles in Europe. I just can't get over Germany. I don't know. I know. Everyone says Italy is so much more beautiful than Germany, but I guess I'll have to find out for myself. Never really thought about Germany that much, but it's one of the places that I could imagine living. And that's a big deal for a guy who's never moved out of state as an adult. Of course, I could also see living in Spain after watching that last video on living in the south of Spain. And I could see living in England just because of the language, or Ireland, but I don't know. Germany just seems to have everything. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. A lot of beautiful places to see in Europe, that's for sure. A lot of important places to see. I don't think we're going to do it in one trip. No, I know. I know. Many, many trips. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, it's anything and everything that interests me as an average middle-aged American, including learning about other countries and other cultures, defending America when I find misinformation, and basically just sharing my experiences and learning about yours. I appreciate all my subscribers and anyone who leaves comments in the comments section. It helps me get better. It helps me learn. And as long as we keep it civil, they are welcomed every day, every minute. Thumbs up would be appreciated, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.